to another recap and discussion of the Greenhouse All Stars with Edmund. Edmund, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Would you say you're just living that life on Dutch?
Yes, of course. I was like,
You
what
can't think of the next lyric.
no, I can't.
Um,
Girl, I can't understand her.
yeah, that's why we love Robo Charlie. Anyways, I'm doing amazing. How are you tonight on our extra special podcast right after the episode? Everything fresh in our mind.
I am doing amazing. Horrible boot, but we'll get into that.
Mm-hmm. I
And
agree.
speaking of getting into that, the person that I always fight every single time that he messages me, we have a special guest tonight. It's Christian. Christian, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so glad to be on the pit stop with Papa and Edmund. I've always wanted to be on this show. I'm ready to review some drag.
The
Okay.
disdain in your voice, like you were forced to be here.
I know. I'm very, like Papa said, I'm very sad he's even here. I wish
Yeah,
I could just
Taylor
do a
Luke is
one-on-one.
behind the camera at gunpoint with Christian.
A lot of references of guns this round, huh? So, way to stay on brand.
I was like, girl, we're popping bitches left and right. I'm like,
Pop, pop. I'm ready to get down to it. So let's get to the
yes.
meat of the season. Christian, oh, I guess I already asked, how are you? Christian, you are our 10th place queen. I can't think of a
11th.
10th place queen from, 11th place queen.
10th
Sorry.
alternate.
Okay, sorry. How did it feel getting 11th place compared to your run on season one, the penultimate? No, that's not right. The whatever it is, the first season.
Um, it was definitely a change, but like I'm used to it. I've gotten lower placements before. So like 11th wasn't bad. I made jury. I got to call myself the mayor of the jury, which was cool. So I essentially like stayed long enough to feel like I participated in the whole season because obviously I'm able to vote. So um, it sucks to not win or even get farther than what I anticipated. But this season really humbled me because I went into the season. Y'all could like go back to the previews or the first episodes or whatever. I thought I was going to do really good, and I didn't. Like I actively, I think Taylor said it best in the draft. Taylor, is it Taylor Gaby? Taylor Gabby?
Yes.
Yeah. She, when y'all were drafting, Taylor said, I think Christian's just going to spiral at some point. And that's what happened. I, there's no way my gameplay was warranting a top 6 placement the way my trajectory was going. So I'm happy with how far I got based on how far or how I played, I should say.
Would you say that you received the delusional edit of this season?
Um, I probably. I mean, I think I would receive like the usual Christian's gonna spiral, and like even it sucks watching because people are just like sniping me at the start, saying, "Oh, Christian's gonna like blow up at some point. Christian's gonna he's gonna put his foot in his mouth at some point," and I proved him right. So I I did have a delusional edit because I thought I was playing way better than I was at some points. But then I started realizing how bad I was playing when we came back from the coffee house. It started coming I started coming back to earth, and then it just unraveled from there.
Coming into the game, you had a couple season one girlies with you. I think we all know Christian's true ally is himself, but who were the people that you really wanted to work with?
So there was like everyone always like they say they don't pregame, and like I feel like this cast did a really good job of not pregaming, but everyone always thinks before going into a game, who do I want to work with? And people are really doing a good job of sniffing out who's on the cast. And there's a few people like who were anticipated being on the cast but didn't. But also some who like just were on the cast the whole time. Abrielle was somebody I wanted to work with the whole time I heard about this season. And I think that's like mainly it from people who were actually playing, because the rest, like I've played with a lot of these players before, and I really didn't know if I wanted to work with like a Brody or a Claire. But I think I knew who I did not want to work with. And
Say their names.
I said it before the game, and I'll say it again. It was Jessica and Maddie. I don't like, I'm too chaotic. I cannot have more chaos working with me. And on top of that, I don't see them as strategic visionaries to where they can complement my game. They're like me, but me not liking my strategy. So that's not good for my game.
Okay. So we see you go on the block. Night one, the only round of the night, even though it lasted 5 hours from what I heard through the grapevine. So ultimately, everyone's scrambling about this night one fly trap as you are just worrying about getting your hiney off the block.
Yes.
And what you managed to do, how did you react to seeing, I guess, Shakira and Thomas a little bit, kind of pushing this vote for you in the beginning, and then you ultimately coming off the block?
So it was like a 4 or 5 hour block, and it was miserable. I feel like I stayed to my script early on, which was like stay calm, don't overreact, especially because it's night one, round one, and I did a good job of it in the sense that people still trusted me, and they were like, "Oh, Christian's not blowing up. It's still early. I feel like we can work with him." And I built a lot of bonds by just like having one-on-one convos. It's a normal thing that I'm used to doing. And y'all saw the montage. Everyone saw it. Just say the same thing to everybody. And it's kind of like a default now because I've gotten so pinned in early games for saying different things that I wanted everyone to feel comfortable with me by saying the same thing to everybody. No one can cross check the truth because I'm not saying anything different. But with night one, I feel like I built a lot of social capital with like just a couple of people. And Abrielle and Meredith were definitely two of them. And they just felt good with me to give me seeds. Night one was crazy though. That block sucked. And to be on it against Brady and Gavin, I think it was just 3 different players, like very different players, to where obviously people are going to start saying my name like Shakira and Thomas at some point. They're good players. They're going to think of every avenue that's good for them. And I can respect that. I respect game. But obviously in game, I don't like it. So yeah, it pushed me into game mode when people like Thomas and Shakira started saying, "What if?"
I do want to say I agree with you in the fact that usually when you keep your story straight, there's less for people to kind of cross-check and expose you for lying. And I do want to say I agree that having those one-on-one connections is ultimately what's going to save you in the end. Although we didn't really see it with you. No shade. But so you come off block night one, everyone's laughing at you because you save yourself. I would have done the same thing. But
Meredith makes a great point that I was going to bring up.
okay, talk your shit, Matthew.
So, Christian, you say that you always be clocked for saying different things, but like, would you be sketched out if someone came up to you and said the same thing about loyalty to everyone else?
Oh yeah, at some point, yeah, absolutely. And that was a fault in my game, honestly. Like, kind of like what Meredith is saying. I think I like hit like 3 main faults this season that really like reigned true in my last round, like my final round. And that was one of them. Like I kept telling people I'm good with you. I'm good with you. I'm good with you. But like, if you keep saying that and not really building upon it, and you say it to everybody, you come off disingenuous at some point. At some point, you will. And I was coming off disingenuous, like, what, round 2 to some people, and some people it just took a little bit longer. And after the coffee house, no one was buying what I was selling, right? I was just trying to keep connections here when I should have just been like working on certain people and just not saying I'm good with you. And also with that, Brady was able to take that and say, "Oh, he made like a final 2 with me." And Meredith was like, "Oh yeah, he said I was his like final 2." I don't think I ever said the words final 2, but I still insinuated it, right? And it's not good gameplay. It's easy to do that in a regular season when there's not all-star players, but these guys are good. So they'll notice it, they'll sniff it out. So at some point the cards are going to fall, right? Another point was like, in addition to that, there was no poise for my game. There was no calmness when there was pressure at some point. Like, I think when it hit the coffee house, I lost all my calmness. And that did not help at all.
So you're saying when Claire went home, you took all the energy that she was giving and
literally
brought it back into the main house.
I attribute a lot of my downfall to Claire bringing me to a different emotional state. Like, I love Claire. She's one of my best friends. But that coffee house amped us up, and the house just stayed down here, right? But it brought me up here. And when we came back, everyone was like, Christian's here with a different energy, right? And it just, I was just so disconnected from a lot of people in the game after that. And I think I was disconnected from my own game too. That, like, there was just, the way I was playing was just not giving, oh, I would love to work with you. No, I don't think anyone wanted to work with me when I came back from the coffee house. Maybe Abrielle, just because I was a number, right? She was crying because we worked together, right? Abrielle, I was a number to her. Brandon, I was a number to him, right? And that's why they wanted to keep me. No one wanted to work with me. But you have people going to Brandon being like, oh, I love Brandon, even when they're not on his side of the house necessarily. You see it in this episode. So the way people perceive you is a lot of like how you put yourself out there. And I just did not work with that.
I feel like with your game specifically, there was certain rounds where you would be a main focal point, and then there were certain rounds. I don't know if you guys heard that noise. I don't know what that was. But there was some certain rounds where you were a main focal point, and then certain rounds where you were just kind of a ghost. Was this intentional?
Absolutely.
Because you kind of pop off round 2, right? And you kind of force this move against Dylan.
Yeah.
And then you kind of disappear for a bit.
Yeah.
Talk through
So
that.
the minute I didn't get put up round 2, actually, the minute Jessica won, what was she, Sunflower round 2?
Yep.
There was a quick combo, like a 5-second combo. Like, we were walking past each other behind the couch, and I go, hey, look, I feel good with you. I'm safe with you. Like I tell everybody. And Jessica's like, oh, yeah, you're good. That gave me the green light to go balls to the wall and say, hey, here's the narrative I want to put out, and it's going to make me safe and make people trust me. And the minute that worked, I said, okay, now I just need to stay calm because everyone is buying what I'm selling for now. So there's no point in making waves. And that was essentially kind of what I did up until the coffee house, was put something out there and just sit. Put something out there and just sit. And it was working. So I just kept doing it. At some points, you just don't see me. It's because I'm just being agreeable to the people I was talking
to. There was certain points, as you stated yourself, where you kind of start to freak out. I think the famous Christian bug eyes come out, where you're just kind of like, you can see it on your face. Your facial expressions tell a lot. But something else I want to touch on is that one of your castmates, who I shall not name, says that they hate how you ham up the on-screen femme persona. Do you do this on purpose?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything I do in game is for a reason. Like, I wanted to act like an idiot at some points because it just lets people off their guard, right? To an extent.
So all femmes are idiots?
No, I'm an idiot, but I'm also trying to go along with certain
I'm just kidding.
personas.
Stop trying to get Christian canceled.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
This is literally every convo with me and Edmund. Shane saying say their name. I don't have that, like, someone saying that, not me.
I only do things that I have permission for. And if my name is signed on the dotted line, I shall not. Because I don't want to get sued.
I'll say this. I've kept receipts this season, personally. And
are they coming out at the reunion?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Jessica, in round 2, after she said, "Hey, I'm good with you, you're not going up," apparently I had no clue my name was still being brought up round 2. So when I think it was a combo with Claire, Abrielle, and Jessica, they're upstairs, and Jessica's like, "I just don't want to see Christian get bug-eyed. I can't look at it. I can't see it." Well, I'm glad you don't want to see it, Jessica, because we didn't see much of you this game. So that if it was Jessica, cool. Expected it.
Baby, save it for the reunion.
I'll say it every day. I'll have this call next week and say it again.
So would you say after your time in the greenhouse that you're bitter towards some of your fellow cast members?
Would you say you have some unfinished business?
Yeah, I always have unfinished business because I never win. So, even
unless it's a stupid chess game.
Yeah, like literally, like Thomas said, Christian will never win a jury. He only won some stupid fucking chess game, and he's right. I had never won, and I never will probably, but I'm good at entertainment.
Interesting.
What was the question?
I don't remember. But I will say, don't be too hard on yourself. I think you've got what it takes to win.
We'll see at some point. I just want Papa to keep drafting me so I can tank his team.
Oh, you didn't tank my team because I'm still in the lead with 4 people. Other people can't say the same.
How does it feel to be Papa's second draft pick to go?
I wish I was his first.
Oh,
I kind of wish too. We needed more Claire. We needed more Claire.
Okay, Christian. Is there anything you would like to touch on about your game that we haven't spoke about? I think we talked about some main focal points. Yeah. Is there anything we didn't see that didn't make the air? I mean, obviously there's some mega cuts or just stuff that wasn't on camera. Maybe some sleuthing you did behind the scenes during your little nightly break before day 2.
Yeah. So before I forget this, I actually live near the Lukes, so like 5 minutes away. So I slept at my house during these. It was 3 days. It was like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Friday night and Saturday night, I actually had Patrick and Brandon stay at my house. Patrick stayed on my couch and Brandon stayed in my guest room. And we were fine after night 1. We were all happy-go-lucky. But obviously I got out before the end of day 2. So they still had to sleep in my house while I was out. Well, that car ride back was quiet. It was quiet. The whole round after I got out, I was sleeping on the couch in the foyer while Shane was getting out. And I told Brandon and Patrick on the way back, the last words I said to him was, Y'all can let yourselves out in the morning, lock the door on your way out. I'm sleeping in. But in regards to my game, just to close it out, 3 main points that I really, really did not execute well, or 3 points that like I'm focusing on as a result of my game is putting trust in bad players like Brady and Jessica. Just shouldn't have. Not building genuine connections, and just the lack of calmness and poise. Those 3 were huge for me, and they really were detrimental. And it made people like Meredith not trust me.
What would you... That's actually something I want to touch on. Because literally the round before you leave, I'm with you in this boat that you spilled everything to Meredith. Obviously, Meredith is already kind of set up in her mind, right? Does she really need you?
Yeah.
No. But do you think she didn't utilize an opportunity to have a completely loyal ally after she basically was the person that saved you during the flytrap round?
Oh, absolutely. The only people I had after Flytrap were Abrielle, Lily, and Brandon, and then her. And really, the only one that was ever gonna like have power to stick their neck out for me was Meredith, and she knew I knew that. And I even went to her halfway through the Monopoly round. You can see it. Tell her my whole game. Tell her everything that's going on. Give her all of the intel that I have, and she was just done with me at that point. She's like, "Oh, well, you gave me all the info I need. Run along, go to the jury, vote for me." And like, if she gets the in, great. But like, I mean, I don't see a lot of people like professing their undying loyalty to you in a game in a general sense. Like in a general sense, if someone does that to me, you're staying. I'm doing everything in my power to work for you to stay. So it's just interesting to see, when Meredith makes up her mind, it's made up. You're not going to convince her otherwise. You're not going to do anything to convince her of something that she's already decided. And it's evident, obviously. If she does not feel a good vibe with you, you're gone in her sense. And you could see that in this round with Shane as well.
Do you think it had something to do with the fact that she was on the block next to you, even though she basically says, "I'm safe, I know I'm safe"?
Yeah, that really, I think a lot of the reason I like started blowing up kind of that round was because I was just in shock. Like, you're saying you're safe on the block, which you are. You're safe if you stay on. She wasn't going home. And if you're safe, but you want to take yourself off, how are you working with me? It was just very interesting. It was shocking to me. Yeah, she made it seem like she did not want to work with me. She may say that, but like it made it seem like she was okay with me going home. And I was like, okay, well, you don't want me in the game. Why would I want to pursue things further with you as an alliance? That's how I took it. Now, did I lack poise there? Absolutely. I will take all blame. I will not actually put any blame on Meredith on that one because I just lost my calm. And then from there, she didn't want to work with me. Completely understand.
Okay, we got to wrap up this your game interview to get on with the rest. But describe, I guess we already talked about your game a lot. So let's say describe your game compared to your game in season 1 in one word. What was different? What did you accomplish? How did you feel about everything?
In one word, like season 1 was probably, I'd say, this is like on the spot. I'd say it's poised versus not poised, but like I guess poised and just unkempt in the second game. Just complete like there's something missing. Like how when you have a bad hair day, that's what this season felt like to me.
Speaking of hair, what a great segue.
I'm amazing at
You
segues.
you said that you want, since you were the king of the flow, you won America's vote. You wanted to judge your fellow remaining competitors on their hair and basically compare their games to some non-fictional characters. You said you were coming into this wanting to read, so just have to preface for the girls watching. So let's see if you have mastered the art of shade or if you are channeling your inner plain Jane.
Absolutely. So kind of to piggyback off of what Edmund was saying, I have the scoop, the reads on this cast. And since I got compared to Ross, who has better hair, I felt let's talk about everyone's hair and let's compare who, if they were a fictional character or a non-fictional character, who would they be based on their game and their hair? And I whipped this up very strategically. So I hope you're all in for a treat.
And then we'll see if we disagree or agree with you.
Okay.
Who's the first one?
Starting up, Abrielle, a chicken
No
little.
suspense. Abrielle, she has, the glossy white hair, right? And she has a yellow shirt, right? Giving chicken vibes, chicken little. Because, like she said in this round and last round, Shane, I'm telling you this. And guess what? It's true. The sky is falling. Now he's gone. Uh-oh. She basically, I think she even might have alluded herself to Chicken Little. She feels like it. And guess what? That's your hair day today. You're a little feathery, but it felt right. It just felt so right. Abrielle, whatever she puts out to some people, if she doesn't have like a lot of social capital with them, she's speaking to a wall, it seems. She spoke to a wall with Shane, and now he's gone. Who's it going to be next? We'll see.
I will say, speaking on Abrielle's game compared to when I played with her, it was kind of the same thing, right? And she kind of brings that up during this season. She's like, I've tried to tell y'all season 3. I'm telling y'all now. No one's listening to me. But the thing that you see in season 3 is that even if she might seem like she's talking to a wall, she still finds her way, like Mr. Little Chicken Little.
Yeah.
Does Chicken Little, like in the movie, have a good ending?
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure he saves the world. I think
Something like that. I haven't
Let's
seen
see.
it in so long.
Let's see.
so.
if she can save the world.
Hopefully, grandmother saves the world. Or something. Okay, next we have.
Is it Brady? Yes.
God.
Brady, I hope you're watching live. I picked this just for you. Brady, what a lovely mustache. What a lovely mustache. You're so chaotic. Your game is so chaotic. And I can say it proudly because I'm also an agent of chaos. But man, this season is crazy. You have jumped back and forth. And at some points, it's just very entertaining to watch. And it's just like Borat. You are channeling that mustache.
I don't really know. I know the name Borat, but I never watched it or anything. So I don't know if I can agree or disagree.
I
will say I think this was Brady's best round. So maybe Brady needs to be more sleep deprived all the time. In my opinion, this was Brady's best round. Do you have anything what are you gonna say?
I've never watched the movie. I think there's like a few movies, which is funny. But I've seen clips. And it's just very chaotic in every single clip that I see, and it's very, very like shades of Brady. So from now on, when I watch Borat or see Borat, I'm gonna think Brady.
Okay. Next we have.
So I don't know if anyone watches Avatar here, but Brandon feels so scorned, so burned by people who really, cross him. In season 1, it was me. He felt very burned by me, and he kept it to his heart. And he did it again this season. Shane burned him. He felt so burned by Shane. And obviously, hairstyles match. They're very identical. Look at it. Straight ahead and short and tight. The scar is missing, but it's there internally. Brandon is scarred right now, but he is just so you know, Zuko's a firebender in whatever show he's in. Brandon has been playing with fire this season. He is in the middle. Somehow, I feel like he's fallen ass backwards into the middle, honestly, because people feel good with him. But I don't know if he intentionally did that with his social game. At this point, we'll see. But yeah, this is a great comparison to Brandon, honestly.
Would you say that Shane dug his claws into his heart so he won't forget him?
Is that a question for me or Papa?
For you.
It's a Kim Petras lyric.
Oh,
You haven't been doing your studying. It
You haven't been You haven't been listening. Wow.
Not
Okay,
to the
next.
But okay, up next we have.
Okay, so this is a stretch. I get it.
Clearly.
Brody's hair is stringy though. You kind of see the little strings on Clifford's head up there. So this is Clifford the big red dog. Now hear me out. I see Brody in the season as the elephant in the room. And he might have been compared to that. I don't know if people have said like elephant in the room is Brody, but it seems like everyone's saying we're going after Brody at some point. Even Ross, who's supposed to be his number one ally, is like, yeah, I'm good with Brody going at some point. So he's just sitting there, this huge player with a huge resume who's actively made himself a big target in the game is still there. So it's kind of like Clifford the big red dog where he's just a big presence there. And he's just sitting there right now, not really on any side. He's kind of in the middle. And everyone really wants him out, but no one's getting him out.
We shall see soon. He did get some droplings from Abrielle that his closest allies are turning on him. But you do see Brody run straight to Ross and exposes it to him when I think Brody should have kept that to his chest and moved accordingly. So we'll see what happens if Brody stomps his way through the rest of this competition.
All right. Next.
This is my favorite. Obviously, you could probably tell from my exit interview and even my intro today. Jessica's my favorite player on this cast right now. When I was getting out, I was playing the game actually. And if you can kind of go back to last week's episode, your podcast, Shakira was sleeping on the couch, right? There was someone else on the couch too. Someone else wasn't playing.
She was in the chair.
She was in the chair. To be fair, she was in the chair. But she wasn't playing. She actively is just there for vibes. And Jessica, you're a mannequin to me. You're just in this game. You're just existing. And a lot of people are starting to say they want you to go far because they think they can beat you. Patrick said it in the episode tonight. And it's very true. I think there's a lot of narrative she has to shake if she wants a chance at the end of this game. So she's going to have to make that mannequin come to life at some point.
I will say I don't think – oh, this is going to sound shady. I don't think the way that she's moving in the game is purely intentional with how she's playing. But would you say – Yes, Shane. Would you say that she is solely focusing on just making it far after her first two runs?
Probably. I don't see any strategy. She's just going with who she's vibing with. Cool. She has no pull in this game. You see it in this episode. She's like, I prefer Shane to stay. and no one says anything. Like no one gives any sort of thought into what she's saying because no one says, "Oh yeah, I would want Shade to stay as well." Um, whatever she's putting down at this point, people are, I think, have all understood where Jessica is in this game to them, and it's just already established. She has she has dug herself into a hole where it's just now perceived by everybody and it's unsaid.
Okay. Next.
Okay, this one's a stretch. For those of you who like Harry Potter, this is I wanted to go with someone who similar hair, right? But also I picked this one because at some points Lily is not present in the episodes for me. I actually was looking for pictures for these players and I had to go back a little bit to find Lily. If you look at the first half of this week, so Sunday's episode, Lily is barely in it. Like, I think she's in it at the start. She's in the game. But after that, like the scrambling, she might have been in one scene scrambling. And that's kind of similar to Luna Lovegood in Harry Potter, where she's invisible at some points. But also Lily, like, I think y'all discussed this in a podcast for the Monopoly round. She was reading the whole house. It was a stroke of genius. Like the way she was like, "Oh yeah, this is happening. This isn't happening." She's kicking her legs behind her, and she just basically reads the whole hierarchy of the house and then does nothing about it.
Yeah.
Like it's very in and out of the game for me. She just has it here. I'm not seeing execution, and I want to see more execution. But I do think, like Luna, Lily's very liked socially, so that's why she's still in the game.
I will say this one I felt like had the most like physical resemblance of like the face and the hair. I was like, come on, Christian.
I did a good job.
I agree. I think Lily was in 2 scenes total in tonight's episode, and like you said, Grisham, we clocked it last week. She did nothing about her reads, and she had the power to do so.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that this could? I think we're past this narrative now since it's so deep in the game. But with how aggressive she was her first time around, do you think she's trying to take this backseat approach, or?
I think at first she probably wanted to, and now she's kind of like stuck in the like endless loop of like, I didn't get power early, so I don't know if I could get power now. And there's like a group kind of running it, so like let me just keep going with them, or I guess against them.
Yeah, and I think Lily's very smart. I think she's noticed that obviously she's still in the game. It's working for her. So I think she's logically just saying, hey, if it's working, I'm not going to stop. And I think it is intentional because of the way she's like communicating with the cameras. It's not like Jessica where like there is no confessional that connects where she's at in the game. It's different from Lily. She's not having confessionals, but when she does, it's like a stroke of genius, you know?
Okay. On to Meredith.
I thought this was a great one. I think Meredith realistically is like one of the smartest people I've ever met. So it's only right to give her Hermione. She's very iconic. But a difference in this game compared to like what I've seen from her in the past is like Meredith, this game, you see her in a lot of scenes like this with this face where she's just being quiet. She's absorbing. She is absorbing all the information. She's reading your face. She's reading your mannerisms. And she's like, okay, I can take this in and I'm going to work with what you're giving me. And she's done that for multiple players. She did it for me. She read me and she said, okay, I got all the information I needed. She is so calculative. I don't know if that's a word actually.
Calculated?
Calculated.
There you go. Tangent. What did Shane say in the episode tonight? It was courteousness instead of courtesy. I feel like Shane right now with that. But to close out Meredith, a lot of she's just a very powerful presence this season, and you can see it in the episodes like tonight, where it seems like the decisions that she makes becomes the decisions that the house makes, and it's just so powerful to watch. So I felt like giving her a powerful character is only fitting.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Next.
Love this comparison. Love this comparison. So in a reading challenge, Violet Chachki says to Katya, "I think you should make like your hair and recede." Now I can only say that because I have a bit of receding hair, but Patrick and Katya match a little bit there, and I personally am very much enjoying Patrick's game this season. I think we got some highlights of Patrick tonight where he had a one-on-one. He was talking about how he's feeling good in the game, and he should, because he is in a very good spot, especially since I think this is his first greenhouse of the season. He utilized like the sunflower to get himself in a good position. Katya is very liked on RuPaul, and Patrick, I feel, is giving a good edit to where like I feel like he's liked from my perspective as a fan. I think he's just playing a solid game. It's a clean game so far, and it's very similar to what Katya vibes from me.
I think that similar to Katya, Patrick is usually always the bridesmaid. So I think that's kind of the comparison I see.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
What I like this season compared to season 2 is that Brody and Patrick were kind of, I would say, the most strategic minds of season 2. But it's interesting to see this kind of power dynamic flip to where in this core group, Patrick is higher on the ladder than Brody compared to last time. But yeah. Next.
Okay, this was a stretch. I really wanted to find like a character with Ross's hair in this picture. It's very bad. But at some points, Ross's hair is way better. But he's been wearing a hat all day. I do think Ross is just a powerful player. And for him to have that hair round 1 and to be having this much power in the game, it's not fitting. The hat is good for him in this game. But Adam Driver kind of has like the swoop on the side, kind of like Ross here. And this is Kylo Ren in Star Wars, but Kylo Ren is just a very powerful presence, very powerful character. And Brody.
That wasn't us. That was Christian.
That was Christian. This is all Christian's bit. So
this is Christian's bit, yes.
Jumping back to Ross, though, I think Kylo Ren is a very powerful presence in Star Wars, and Ross is just giving very powerful presence. He's sort of giving villain that's not really read by the cast as a villain to me a little bit. I guess that might just be from me because he basically like slapped me in the face on the flytrap round and said, "Hey, you can't do anything for me, so I don't have any use for you." I guess that's why I'm reading it that way, maybe. But I do think Ross is making a lot of moves this game, so it's kind of fitting that he gets a powerful player as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Next. Sorry, we got to speed up a little bit.
Yeah. And sorry. Shane, I want to go back to Shane's little comment of Shane marked safe from the segment. Baby, you're not.
Not safe. Shane, you're not safe. Sorry. I think you were set up in a weird position this game, and you were focused on one player a lot, and it was Thomas. Squidward's focused on one person a lot to hate, and it's SpongeBob. Very similar vibes there. And a lot of people just at one point just were okay with you going, and that's a similar vibe to what Squidward has.
And then last but not least,
before we reveal it,
I'm
okay with roasting myself as well in this game. So we're gonna do me last. I think this is very fitting. Spiraled out of control. Um, very big, flamboyant presence.
You
Or was
said
it femme presence?
femme persona were
Femme
the words I
persona.
received.
That was in this game, and it's so fitting that this is my lookalike. Very fitting in the sense that this character was just like not liked and also like eliminated in their movie. So I am Prince Charming from Shrek. The middle part is hitting. At least I look good and provide good entertainment.
Work.
I can
Okay.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the comparison, sure, but the entertainment, I see. I'll give that one to you.
Thank you.
But, oh, why did my camera go off? Are y'all still there? Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello? I can't hear y'all.
Hello.
Hello? I don't know what's going on. Hold on, give me a second. I'm so sorry. This is so unprofessional. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, hello? Did my mic go out? I'm confused. Hello? Is anyone there?
I feel
Hello?
like we'll just
Hello?
like hello.
Oh my gosh.
Are we
Hold
still
on.
live?
Yeah, I think we're still live. Okay, wait, I think I'm coming back. Okay,
Hello,
wait.
am I here?
I think I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, here's my camera.
Okay.
Y'all suck.
You had a bit? So did
So,
we.
Christian, we're talking about hair, so we have to, of course, you have to read us for ours. As I get hair in my mouth.
What
Christian,
is
what do you think
this?
about our hair?
Yeah.
Very Kim Petras.
Oh,
Ooh, I'll take it.
yes.
What
That's
about
it?
for Papa?
Forced to work. Going to
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
y'all did
That's all you
not
have to
tell me
say?
in. I could have prepped a wig.
Oh.
But
That's the point of
also,
our bits. You don't
Yeah.
know our bits.
You said, oh, you could do this as the bit, and we said, no, we already have one planned.
yeah. No, I'm femme enough.
Anyway.
Okay, I have to go off camera to put my hat back on because my hair is a mess. But
Me too. But let's get into the round. Christian, let's start with this round. What would you like to say about how this round started? Let's talk about the history challenge.
I liked it.
I love this greenhouse challenge. It's severely underrated, but it seemed like everyone in this cast was happy to play it. Christian, how do you think you would have done if you would have done this challenge?
I I would hope that like a switch would have turned on and I've been like game mode. Let's actually try. I don't. I think I would have actually done okay. Maybe like third or fourth. I don't think I would have done as bad as some of the other players.
Oh,
But also like people were working together for the shuffleboard part, and no one would have want to work with me at that point.
Should we see what place you would get in the challenge?
yeah, I think we should test your knowledge. So we asked you to bring pen and paper.
Oh shit! Should I go run and get it?
Oh, she was unprepared.
Unprepared.
It's fine.
She was
So you don't need
thinking
to
about
run and
her
get
own
it.
bit.
So
Okay.
you don't need to run and get it. I'll just have you answer after Edmund writes down his answer.
Okay. I'm ready.
I can type. Yeah.
Oh,
let's do
that'll
that.
work too. So I have 5 questions. We're just gonna whoever's the closest will get a point. 3 wins.
Chat, feel free to participate.
Yes, chat participate.
I feel like I'm gonna get roasted.
So these will all be you're answering years, okay? Years. Edmund does not know any of these answers. I made all these myself. So question 1. What year was Jeff Probst born? No Googling.
Yeah, don't Google Christian.
I'm ready.
Oh.
Wait. No, I'm not.
Oh. I'm getting hair everywhere.
Okay.
Chat, any answers before we reveal?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, go ahead, reveal.
1967.
Oh,
Oh, I was gonna put 73 at first.
the correct answer was 61. So Edmund gets a point.
Damn. He's
He's
that
old.
old?
He's old.
No, he's that old.
So old.
Question 2. What year did Leonardo da Vinci begin painting the Mona Lisa? Begin painting. Not when it was completed. Begin painting.
Girl, is this one of them BC questions? I don't know. I flopped. Oh, by the way, they said that this was a challenge in season 3. If y'all remember, I flopped. I don't know my history at all unless it's Kim Petra's history.
That's why the next 3 are compatriot now.
Oh. Okay, I'm done.
Okay,
1407? Am I that off?
go ahead and reveal.
I said 1863.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do some math.
Well,
The correct answer was 1503. So Edmund's 360 away, and Christian, what were you at? Christian got that point.
How?
He was like 320 away, if that, or 220.
Whatever.
Not whatever.
We tied.
No.
What?
What?
Are we
Yeah, we
tied?
are
Like
tied.
Oh, I
as
thought you
Edmund
said,
has a point,
"Can we tie?" I was like, no.
Edmund has a point. I have a point.
Okay, yeah. So moving on to question 3. What
so
year
good.
did RuPaul release her first studio album?
Shit.
Studio album?
Studio
Album.
Studio album.
Hmm.
Brody is roasting Edmund right now.
Brody, don't get too cute.
Studio album.
I need an
But
answer.
it's actually funny because I'm a math gay. I'm not an English gay, but I digress. Okay.
Go ahead and reveal.
96.
97.
The correct answer. Valencia actually got it in the chat. 93.
Oh, yes,
Oh my
So who's the
God.
96, Edmund?
Valencia,
Yes.
the history buff of the chat.
So Edmund's at 2. Christian, you need this to stay in.
I need it. I need it so bad.
Question 4. What year did Taylor Luke post his first YouTube video on the channel?
On
Girl,
this
he
channel.
privated
On
that. He
this
privated the
channel.
real one, probably from when they were like all young.
What year did Taylor Luke post his first YouTube video on this channel, the one that he posts on?
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and reveal.
2011.
2010.
It was 2015. Brody
Yes!
got it. Well, so Edmund, you win. Christian, sucks to be you.
Okay,
You lost
let's do
again.
let's do the last question really quick.
Oh, I skipped the other one that was supposed to be question 4 because I thought this was gonna end it. So, it's not that good.
Not you having no faith in Christian.
Literally none.
The way that y'all kept answering one away, I knew he was gonna lose.
He's so mean to me.
I was. Okay, this one was, what year was Isaac Newton born?
The fuck?
I would have said like 1803.
It's 1643.
Okay.
So
All right.
you did amazing.
Come on, inertia. That's what he created, right? Inertia.
He created it. Yeah. You're very good. Thank you.
See, I'm so smart.
Oh my god. Wait, so
Okay, let's get into this. So we see you kind of brought it up. They like were this is one of my things. I love All Stars. Do not get me wrong. The one thing I hate about having a bunch of smart players is that sometimes they suck the fun out of the competitions because they hack them and they plan them out and they basically strategize how to break the competition, right? Which has happened like every single fucking competition in this season. That is my one qualm, okay? But we see that they basically plan out who to throw to, who to give strikes to. How do we feel about this?
I thought it was smart for like the majority, obviously. But I'm just like, I did not understand with like Jessica and like Brady, where they're just like, oh yeah, like I'll give it to you. Like y'all are the ones that need to be in power right now. So what are we doing?
Right. I mean, like it's really beneficial for the people who are saying like the three, Meredith, Patrick, and Ross.
Yeah.
And it just showed where they're at in the game.
This is actually a point that I had for the end of this. But Brody in the greenhouse once again for the gazillionth time, giving their Tsunami Muse. Safe. We need some versatility here, Brody. You need to go on the block a few times.
We do like to see versatility, both in a winner and in bed. But I don't know what to say with that. But yeah,
Forced
Brody
to work.
gets to sleep every round. Yeah, so Brody's safe once again. At this point, because what place did Brody get? Second or third?
Brody got what was it?
Patrick was
second,
first.
I think. Yeah.
Was Ross not second?
Was Ross second?
Ross was second. I think
Abriel was third. Brody was
Abriel
fourth.
was third. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. See, Brody was third.
Brody was third. Oh, okay.
The top three got.
Oh, I was right. Fourth. Thanks, Brody. And then Meredith was fifth.
Yep.
Meredith was fifth.
Yeah.
So basically, Meredith wants to replenish her seeds from uprooting herself the round prior, which understandable. And then, personally, I'm ecstatic to see Abrielle in the greenhouse because I think that she probably would have been in. I don't know if she would have been in trouble here, but I think she probably would have gone out. Yeah. But Abrielle's gotten out of more precarious situations. I just used a big word. But
I found it interesting that, I mean, she was like number 3, obviously. But like that Brody and Patrick and Ross, like all let her get like a flower and like be in a nominating power. I would have, right from her, you could have Tulip, cool, go block some votes. Like if you want a flower and be safe. But like, they let her put someone up. Like, I don't know. That was just shocking to me because it's like, if I was in like the main alliance, like I would want to keep all the nominating power to us and not have anything like go on that like I don't want to have happen.
Yeah, it was similar to like when Brandon won the coffee house greenhouse.
Yeah,
and just didn't want it.
I'm kind of jumping ahead, but are we shocked that Abrielle doesn't nominate Meredith here after she was campaigning so hard to get Meredith out the round before?
Yes, I literally was like, oh, I was like, Meredith and Nom, cool. I'm like, and then probably like Brandon and Lily. I'm like, that's going to be the nom set. And then all of a sudden it's just like, here are 3 noms that I did not expect from the people that nom them. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, it kind of like what you said about the competition, Edmund, is like we're getting into like a phase where people are just putting the bottom tier hierarchy players up. And I feel like Abrielle just like in the middle of these 2 rounds, middle of the last round and this round, just accepted like I am gonna have to rework some social capital here. So she tried rebuilding it, I guess, by not putting Meredith up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of the good things about Abrielle this round is that she was fighting so hard to get out Meredith the round before and like was like saying all these things about her to a big chunk of people that right when she got power and she was talking to Patrick, she basically leaked her own information of this 4, which like is probably an inkling to some people. But I feel like she got ahead before people exposed her and were like, we can't trust Abrielle.
Yeah. I think Abrielle's really good at just like, I know we say it like all the time. She just kind of like is kind of in the background and then she'll come forward like when she needs to and like here's a little bit and then like go back again because now she's safe again. And like I was so confused why she like ran straight to Patrick and was like, oh, like us, like, yeah, cool, like, here's information. I was like, what are you doing? But like, her seeing that like her whole side's just going to keep going, I think it's smart to get in and be like the fifth or the sixth on the other side, because then when we get down to the fifth or the sixth on the other side, they're all going to want your vote because they're going to try and break
Mhm.
off.
Exactly. And I think that's what she was trying to do also in this round, because we said it last pod, but basically, I feel like Abrielle is going to be a number that people swoop up when they start to cannibalize, which they did this round. They turned on Shane. And again, Abrielle was in power, so she wasn't really in danger at all. But I think she was just trying to show some good faith to build some favor with them.
Yeah.
Patrick gets Sunflower, and he nominates Brandon and Brady. What do you guys think about this?
Okay, so it's Patrick is very different from the other two in power, and I'm saying in a general sense of Ross, Meredith, and Patrick. He Ross and Meredith are kind of aligned with the same people, and Patrick's aligned with very different people. So for him to put up someone like a Brady doesn't really give him any backlash. I don't think he's working with Brady really at all, and that's kind of why he did that. And I think Brandon was just another one where he just wasn't near him, but I don't think he knows that how close Meredith and Ross are to him, are to Brandon.
Yeah, like Patrick is like, I want to root for him, but like some of the stuff that like he just like lets fly like over his head, it like makes it hard to root for him, because it's like, obviously like you get down to your group, like cool, if you're a three and like that you made it to the end, but like you obviously just can't completely cut everyone else off. So like having your little people, like if you have little like other people that you're working with, like the others also have to. And like, I don't know, like the noms make sense, but then it's just like, where does he go from here? Like, because all his like little people are gonna start going, and then he's gonna have no one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how Patrick played in season 2 also. Like, Patrick plays for his group, but he doesn't play for himself at the same time, to where when he inevitably gets put up against these people, he's not going to have the numbers and the capital to save his ass when he's next to his closest allies, which is why you need to have these different avenues.
I will say I found it very interesting that we got a Patrick confessional, and he was like, my closest to is Meredith, and then I was like, oh, he's gonna say Ross, and then he said Jessica. Like that kind of, as a viewer, struck me as odd, because like I have not seen that as like a thing at all. I was like, where's Ross? Because like you always see Ross being like, okay, like if I have to turn on Patrick and Brody, like I will, but you never see Patrick going like, oh yeah, like Ross is like not in the picture. So it was just like very odd to me that now is the time that he's like, yeah, I want to go with these two and kind of cut Ross out of the equation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think and correct me if I'm wrong, because I was like packing because I'm going to New York tomorrow. But I don't like. Did he specifically say I want to get Ross out? Because
No,
it's like similar to season 2, where like he was loyal to Brody, but I don't think he ever wanted to go with Brody to the end. To where I think he's saying that he wants to go to the end with Meredith and Jessica because he thinks that that's his best
Exactly.
beat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Brody's has
Yeah.
experience with
Mhm.
this, so he's kind of
Yeah.
giving a good
Mhm.
perspective of it. It's very eerily similar to season 2, where he's picking like two allies that he just wants to just go face off against at the end, just because he thinks he
Mhm.
can beat them. Now, I don't think he necessarily thinks he can beat Meredith, but I think he kind of said in this episode he's trying to build up a resume at this point.
yeah.
Yeah, and he probably thinks taking out players like Brody and Ross will be his resume. Um, so, um, all right.
Um, so we see Jessica after like all of the everyone gets their flowers and she's kind of making her rounds. Um, goes up and gives like the same speech to like a new person every time. She'll go up to like sh- Brady and she'll be like, "Oh, like it's us to the end. Like, I support you like so much. Like, you are giving me the time of day and others are not. And like, I've noticed a trend with her that she keeps doing this like every round when someone new is in power. And it's like giving very like you, Christian, and like Brady, where it's like, let's run to those in power and like plead, 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 and then just like run off. And it's just like, what is Jessica doing? Because it's like one round, I think I have her pinned where she's like, okay, she's with this group, and then the next round, she's like completely jumped ship and with the other like side. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, is this intentional or is it just like you're in power, yay?
But I think this is like why I compared Brady and Jessica to each other last podcast, because they do the same thing and then they just flip flop to whoever's in power. But I don't even think they do it intentionally. I just think their thoughts and their loyalties change by the minute based on what they're hearing. I think Brady's a little more calculated, of course.
Obviously,
Yeah, but but,
so much shade for me. I'll stand by it.
I cannot wait for this reunion. But yeah, I like, that's why I think they're similar, because like you really can't tell who they're with because they change so quick on a dime.
Right. Yeah.
So obviously this round it is turn against Shane completely. A big 180 flip from everyone in the cast.
Girl, it crumbled quick.
So
how do we
quick.
feel about the just jump on the Shane hate train?
I think it's like it's showing, a lot of people's games are showing at this point. And for some reason, it just felt like this episode, like two people got a bad vibe from Shane and it just spread like wildfire once they said it. And it was, I think it came from, one was Abrielle and she was not in a convo with anyone else except for Patrick. And one was from Meredith in a convo with Ross.
Yeah.
And I think they had different like perceptions of Shane. Like Abrielle wanted Shane out for a reason and Meredith wanted Shane out for a reason. They were different, but everyone just started jumping on the bandwagon of, yeah, I don't trust Shane.
And I think,
but I do.
Go ahead.
Really quick, I just want to say I do want to give Brady some credit, because I feel like Meredith may have been having these thoughts, but she didn't really act on them until she had this conversation with Brady. And then also it shows the power of Meredith that we talked about earlier, because as soon as Meredith said she was done with Shane, it seemed like everybody had turned against Shane.
Mm-hmm. And like, I think it helped that they were like the two differing, like helped in the like way of getting Shane out because it had the two differing things. But then you also had Brandon with his same response from last round where he's like, Shane flipped. It was supposed to be this 6 and blah, 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 blah. And like, then Meredith was speaking up and she's like, well, for us, it didn't feel like he flipped because he was always with us. So then you had the whole new like addition of, oh my God, like, is Shane really flipping on us? And like, we were never his number one. And then you have Brandon that's like, oh, like he was with us and then never did. So then it's like this whole narrative of like, I think the pile on more of Shane is playing the middle so bad when I think in reality he never really was. Like the first few rounds maybe, but like after round like end of round 2, he was locked with the group that he was with.
Right, like I think he was going back and forth between the few groups a lot, but he was always proving loyalty to one group. Instead of giving little tids and bits to everybody and kind of flip-flopping. Yeah.
So I know we've talked about Abrielle like a gazillion times already, but this is kind of like one of her rounds. You see her last round and this round be like, look, I'm telling you, if we do not get these people out, like I'm gonna see y'all in jury and say I told you so. And you saw her with Brody and Brady, and then also with Shane being like, I told you so. Like I'm already telling you now. Like I told you so. Like we're fucked. Do you think like anything could have changed to stop this like outcome that's like inevitably happening with the downfall of all of them?
I actually think like little things in the beginning or towards like the mid game, like butterfly. And I think like a lot of the coffee house what happened in the coffee house just has a direct effect of this. Um, but in this round since, I think like Abrielle's just kind of jumping on the current power status and just trying to jump ship and create a new sort of voting block. And it's kind of destroying the side versus side narrative. And I wonder if that's intentional.
I mean, for her, she needs it because if there's
Yeah.
side versus side, she's kind of fucked after this. But I also wanted to like include that I'm confused because like if this is like a side versus side thing, why is like the majority side going after Shane and then Brody? Like it makes no sense to me because it's supposed to be numbers that are with them. And like they're all like, "Oh, this is like end game right now." This is not end game. Like we are just now touching single digits after you let go of Shane. Like you got 3, 4 more rounds until end game. Like what? I just don't understand their logic. And like maybe Abrielle's hoping that she could swoop in and be like, "Oh my god, like yes, 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 yes," and then they get out Brody, and then everyone just jumps on getting out the 3.
Right, but like, I mean, it happens every ball, mama. Like the majority cannibalizes and they turn on each other and they start getting paranoid. And I don't think the sleep deprivation of playing all night and all day is helping. Um, I think it's helping Brady because I think this was the strongest round. So maybe Brady needs to be like tired out every time he plays. Because I think Brady did a very, very good job this round because you see him go between the two sides and basically start or not start, but keep pushing these perceptions of each group to each other to where Brady's sitting pretty, right? And Brady's been saved how many times now?
Mm-hmm.
But you see Abrielle like kind of give Brody this tidbit of like, I am confirming to you, they are coming after you. And then Brody runs to Ross and is like, yep, Patrick and Meredith are coming after me. And I'm like, baby, he's actively planning it with them. So
I love Brody, but I like he needs to go home and take a nap because like I don't know what is going on with him. Like hopefully after this round, you know, they all go their separate ways. He goes home, has a good night's sleep, wakes up and realizes, "Oh shit, Abrielle is right and I shouldn't have said anything and these people are coming for me." But like if he is just on this like let me suck Ross's dick train, like I am goodbye, go to jury because like Brody, like the mess was working in the beginning and like it was really setting you up for later, and now we're later and you're not really doing much to help you get to the end.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm hoping he gets a good night's rest because I think he
Right.
needs it.
I'm actually very curious to see because I slept in these next couple rounds. So I actually don't know what happens in the next couple rounds. Very interested to see how the sleep like helps some people out or affects some people.
Or non-sleep. Because at this point, like when I'm in game mode, I am like in game mode. Even if there's an overnight, I will stay up all night thinking of every single scenario that I can take to get to the end, especially if I have just now hit single digits. I'm thinking about how do I get from point A to point B to where I wouldn't be sleeping.
Right.
But I think some of these people need it. And I think once Brody kind of gets out of game mode for a bit, if he does, because like I said,
Oh, it's over.
yeah.
Meredith's going home. She's going home. Like, there was a
Meredith is good.
conversation. It was Ross and Meredith, I think. And like Meredith was turned to the side, but I swear her eyes were closed for 3/4 of the conversation. I said she is falling asleep right now.
Still more game than Jessica that round too.
Oh my God.
Leave Jessica alone. She is your draft sister. You need to sit there and be nice with her.
He just wants his spot secured on Rivals. Anyways,
With Jessica,
Wow, what a rival.
So
so
yeah,
there was a point that I thought was hilarious. Meredith and Brady were outside and they were talking, and Brady's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna like chill out. I'm not even gonna bid on Uproot. Like, I trust y'all. Like, you could even have my seeds." And he said it to Meredith, and I would have been like, thank you, I'll take them. Like, yes, ma'am. But Meredith is just like, oh, like, okay. Like, she, like, did not care. It seemed like she was just over the round. She's like, let's get out Shane and go. But I would have been like, you can pour them right in my cup and go tell Holly, thanks. Like, I would have taken them and I would have went on my way. Oh, you want your seeds back? I don't know if I could give them to you. I'm sorry.
She's definitely demonstrating her pull, and it's it's a contrast from season one where like she didn't have like very good positioning in the game, but she's showing that she with a good positioning she can just run.
Yeah, and
Yes,
people were
ma'am.
clocking it early on. They're like,
Abrielle.
if you let Meredith make it too far, she's just gonna win it out in the end, and she's really
Yeah.
good, and she's gonna have all these numbers. And we're starting to see, even the people that are not with Meredith are all like, oh, Meredith is like the one that I want to work with on this side, and it's every single time someone's about to go home or they're on the block and they need something, they're running outside to Meredith.
Christian has firsthand experience with that. So how do we feel about Brody basically not demanding, but basically putting his foot down and saying, I want my vote blocked? Do you think this is because he promised Shane he would keep him and he didn't want to go back on his word? Do you think he wanted it for leverage in the future? Both? What do y'all think?
Brody, I don't think gives a fuck if he gives someone his word and then votes them out. He does not seem like that type of person, like, or player. I think he realizes.
To an extent, I think, because I think it's still pretty early, right? We just talked
Hasn't he
about how
been
it's still
talking
pretty
shit about
early.
Shane for like
But the thing
four
is
rounds?
Brody, yeah, but like Brody doesn't want to start this like perception of himself as someone who goes back on his word. He's gonna do it at the end when he knows he has complete control, and I think he knows he doesn't have control right now.
But I still think that he did it so he has like some oh, you need me or I have this in case like I need it later power going into the first few rounds of like in single digits.
I think Brody's prepping. Brody and a lot of players are prepping for late game. Like you can, I think this round was very indicative of that. Like Shane was just a casualty of people moving their chess pieces in formation for tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And I think he's very strategic. He's like, I need ammo for when things go south, and he's starting to try to position himself in a way where he has some sort of protection.
Yep, I agree, and he's gonna need it, I fear.
Unless he just wins
because
every other greenhouse.
well, that's the thing. I like that's the thing, and I've said this with Papa before. I don't know if it was on the podcast or not, but Brody has been winning every single freaking greenhouse. But in single digits, you can't win every single greenhouse to where it's gonna start to get a little tricky for Brody. But I like shifty Brody more than I like safe Brody. So I'm ready to see Brody.
I need to see
blossom.
Brody like scheme a little, like go and like have the heat on him. Like he needs to be a nom and then like work his magic because like we're not seeing that right now. We're just
I think we're seeing
rocks.
I think what was so funny is when Abrielle, Brady, and Brody are having this conversation. Abrielle's basically telling Brody that these people are coming after him, and then Brady's like trying to talk about saving his ass, and then Brody's like, "To be clear, are they coming after me or not?" And like they just like kept like beating around the bush. Yeah, it's definitely more fun to watch.
Brody's good at like demonstrating high level scrambling, and it's showing this round even though he's safe. Like he's like, are people coming after me? Are people coming after me? And it's showing that like he's trying to get ammo for when he needs to like start shooting people.
Here goes the guns again. Here goes again.
But I think that's what Brody is good at. He collects receipts and then he can throw people under the bus when he needs to and be like, I kept my word to you, but this person threw you under the bus to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And then I think since he's been so chill, since he's been safe, people can't hit him with the, oh, it's because like you're just trying to be messy and do this and that. Like, because then he's gonna be like, have I been messy ever since round 1 and 2? Like anyone want to object?
Which that's been his shtick the entire season, right?
Yeah, so it's just like I don't know. Like I fear for him. I don't see a path for him to win or get to the end, but I do see some entertainment value coming from him in the next few rounds.
I want Brody to pop off on Ross. Like, someone needs to pop off on Ross, and I think Brody's going to be the one to do it. Even if he doesn't win the war, but, like, someone needs to call out Ross. Like, why is everyone just... I don't want to use Matthew's explicit language from earlier, but, milking the cow,
Right. Real quick to put a bow on that is in my exit interview, like, obviously this is me now a year removed, but like directly after I got out, I'm like praising Ross as the first juror, right? It just goes to show that Ross is in a great position.
Mm-hmm. And everyone still wants to work with him. We need Mother Meredith to come to a revelation and put down her hammer.
I just want to see Ross, Patrick, and Meredith on the block again. There's no fly trap. And I need Meredith to snap into the realization of, oh, they could go. Goodbye. And like just I need a Meredith, Abrielle, and Jessica final 3. That's the 3 I need. I would love if this season came down to a tie between Abrielle and Meredith, and Jessica broke the tie. Game changing.
Girl, I don't think I want to put the winner of the season in the hands of Jessica.
I would be fine with either person winning. I would be fine.
I guess, yeah.
Shane, don't be coming for me.
One thing I do want to, speaking of Shane, one thing I do want to give him some props for is the fact that he caught on to this shift in body language really quickly. And he was like, my allies are turning on me. Like, that is not the same way they've been talking to me all game. And I just think Shane's reads are really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane, like, I hated that in the beginning of this round, he was like sitting down, like, I'm being chill, like, I'm showing y'all, like, I'm not doing anything weird out of the normal. And then, like, he tried to, like, after he got nominated, step up and be like, okay, like, this is like what I'm saying, like, this is what we need to do. And like everyone just like didn't really care at this point, whether it was late or they just wanted to get him out. But he was like fighting. I will give him that. He did not stop. And I think he knew his like one avenue at the end of the day to try and save himself was Abrielle, and that's why he sat in that room with her forever. Like, I don't know, I just wish like he figured out sooner that that group was not like they were going to turn on him.
Yeah, the only explanation I can see of like Shane getting out here is because he was just too late on avenues he should have pursued. But like it was just very unfortunate. Like I feel like he was just in a very unlucky position going into this round. And he was just this like, what is it? Expendable to everybody. Like no one really cared if he left. And it was just weird to see. But I just like y'all said, I really liked seeing the scramble. It was very logical, but the vision he showed was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
And Shane kind of had
my season 3 sister go home.
A few big ones this episode, like when he was up in the room with Abrielle and she was like kind of fighting back with him. He was like, "I hear you, but do you hear me?" I was like, I was like,
it.
You got her there because she kind of paused and she was like, "Yes, I hear you," and then like went back on her rant.
Yeah, but clearly clearly she does it in this moment, right? Is she's basically saying like, "I told you so." So Shane gives her that. He's like, "You did tell me so. You're right." And then she's just kind of like, "My hands are tied." And then he's like, "But they're not. Like, you can literally save me right now."
It's giving very like flashback to him and Claire in the coffee house when he could have used his seeds to save Claire and did not. And now Abrielle could have used her seeds to save him and did not. It's giving very full circle moment.
I mean, I think the fullest circle of them all is the fact that Shane went home next to Brady.
To Brady, yes.
He should have brought his inhaler.
Do you guys think Brady is sucking the air out of the room this season?
I never thought that. I love entertainment because I am entertainment only. So like Brady's just really good reality TV. I don't think he's sucking the air out. I think he's just completely like gassing up the place. I think it's different.
So he's lighting it on fire.
Absolutely.
I think if anyone was sucking the air out of the room this season, it was Christian.
Oh,
Just kidding.
No comment.
Papa's trying to secure his spot on Rivals. Fresh meat.
I already
But,
have my spot on All Stars 2 when I win this draft per Taylor Luke. So
Okay, girl. I wish I could go into a season with 3 people and have a 33% chance of winning. Anyways, I digress.
Interesting. Okay.
What haven't we touched on?
I like that Shane burned his seeds instead of giving them away. It felt very powerful in the moment because it's like, y'all want these seeds, you're trying to get seeds to be burned and all this stuff. Like, none of y'all are getting these. Like, should have worked with me. Like, should have been loyal to me. I was like, get your final big one before you go.
knowing Shane, I love when I see petty Shane come out, and this was like full petty Shane saying, "Fuck y'all, I'm not giving you my seeds." Because I even asked like probably 30 seconds before then, I was like, "Who do you think he's gonna give his seeds to?" And we couldn't decide who. And then like next scene is I'm not giving them any.
Yeah, he was pissed. But like, I love that he's like always thinking game, you know. Yeah. So it was at that point everyone had turned on him. So why contribute to anybody's game if I wasn't contributing to their game from their perspective? One last thing I want to touch on before we wrap up is I think Brandon's social game is also showing in this round. Similar to how Meredith's power and pull is showing, Brandon's social game is just showing because people want to work with him who's not even on his side. Like Ross and Meredith just said, "Oh yeah, Brandon's up. He's not even with us, but we feel good with him, so we're going to work with him." So I think that should be said, like acknowledge Brandon. Like, I guess I'm not seeing the conversations he's having with them to make him feel like this, but until after. But
I think
he's saying the right stuff.
Yeah, I think with Brandon, the main thing is that he isn't a variable in people's eyes. People still see Shane as a variable to where they don't know which way he's going to swing, to where they're like, okay, well, Brandon's pretty direct about what he wants and how he's going to move, right? And although Shane was direct in how he was going to move with those people, he was still shifty with the other side. But I agree, because last round with this whole Shane versus Brandon outburst, when Brandon was talking all this shit, I was like, Brandon, you're probably going to leave before Shane.
Yeah.
But then we see that Shane actually goes home before Brandon, and Brandon got the last laugh. But to touch on his social game, I agree. I think it's a little troublesome for Abrielle, because I feel like that's kind of the position she's trying to take in this moment. But I think with him not doing as much work as she had to do, like you said, Christian, I think it shows how easy it is for him.
Yeah, I will say, because like Brandon obviously was trying to play the middle early on, and then he like was like, okay, like I picked a side. I do think his role in trying to play the middle early on is helping him now, even though he's picked a side, because then they're all just like, well, like cool if he like has to put us up, but like if we're all safe and like he's gonna be good with us, and if it comes down to it, like Brandon has like good thoughts in his mind about us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
alrighty, let's go around the table and say our MVP for the round. Christian, we will start with you.
I'm gonna say, I think I'm gonna go with the person who had the most pull and the best position this round, and that was Meredith to me. It seems like it's starting to be everything she says is what we're gonna do. And it's just simple as that. Now, I like Patrick's position, but Meredith is the same thing and even more.
I am gonna say, let's say Ross. I don't know. Like he is just like on his high horse, and he's getting everything that he wants. He's still got the green thumb. He's got 2 banked votes. Like he is set up and he just continues to run each and every round with his little posse. I do think Meredith has more pull, but also I think Ross is just like in the better position moving forward.
I think this might be the first podcast where we all have different MVPs. I'm gonna give it to my good sis Brady because of the reasons I have been stating all podcasts. I think he is doing it in a cleaner way than he was before. He's not coming off as frantic or yes, thank you, Brody. See, me and Brody are always on the same page. But exactly. Brody basically just put my sentiment into 2 sentences. But yeah, I think he successfully went to each side, told them what they needed to hear about the other side to force these 2 sides to still go after one another. And he's still going to sit there, whether it's on the block or as a vote for them. But that's the thing is like, I think it's actually a good thing that Brady has been on the block because he hasn't had to pick the side. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I was gonna say, now that Shane is gone and the people in the middle are like kind of gone, like the very big perceived middle, do we think that the group that he switched to is gonna start clocking Brady as being in the middle as like a Shane, because now there's like no Shane to blame it all on?
Right. But I feel like they expect it from Brady. But Brady has actively been showing them, giving Ross a seed in the fly trap. Didn't he give seeds also? He just gave Meredith 2 seeds. He
Yeah.
did something also last round. I forget what it was when he was in the room with the 4.
Oh, he was like laying out the like, this is how we make it to the end. Like,
right. So and
Kick Brody
yeah.
out.
So yeah. Yeah, and obviously that enraged Brody. One thing about is like don't dismiss Brody because then Brody will just go on the warpath.
him
Because
stomping
right after he's
downstairs
like,
and saying,
Brody kicked me out of that room. Just so y'all know, Brody kicked me out of that room just 2 seconds ago. He kicked me out. He won't let me in. That is what I love about Brody is he will just sit there. He'll pick his one target and he will just talk all the shit he can. Yes, Meredith, that's what it was. But yeah. Anything else before we close?
I actually completely agree with y'all on Brady, and it's incredible that he's doing that while on the block. Like he's been on the block the last 2 rounds, and he's doing all of this. It's hard to do because you don't have capital when you're on the block. Really, it's like your capital's cut in half because people are like considering you. So it's pretty cool to see him execute like this.
Yeah, when like I said, when Brady is like honed in and like focused and just chill and like spits the facts, because Brady has good reads, he just doesn't say the right things. And this round he was saying the right things. So
Brady's a better
we'll leave
me.
it.
I think I compared him to you.
Oh my
saying
gosh,
he was
Brody!
mini Christian.
We have to show Brody sneak. Brody sneak.
Oh!
Not too much on my good sis Brady. After you just gave him flowers for the MVP, he had to give a little.
He had to knock him back down
a little
bit.
jab. Okay, Christian, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for loving our beautiful blonde hair. And anything else you'd like to say before you go?
Can't wait to see y'all at the reunion.
Ooh, what are you gonna wear to the reunion?
Ooh, I don't know. I might. I don't know. I might wear like the same.
Outfit.
I might. Yeah. I'll put my clown makeup on, but I might wear my like night 1 greenhouse outfit, the one I got put on the block with.
Oh, so now you're repeating looks.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like America's Next Drag Superstar to me.
Clocked me.
Christian, in all seriousness, thank you for joining us. Always love speaking to you. My original king picking me on the Ascendance Live draft, and which introduced me to this beautiful series. Actually, I don't remember. I think I got you on that draft. But anyways, thank you so much, Christian.
Thank y'all so
Oh,
much.
make sure you tune into the greenhouse every Thursday and Sunday at 8/7 Central at the link down below. Christian, point
Yes.
your fingers. Yes, ma'am. Okay, and we will see you guys all next week on a special day. I'm booked and busy, so I'm traveling, doing some gigs around the country. But we will keep you updated on our next podcast. We will see you next week.
Next week. Bye, everyone.